So let's start with the biggest shift I've seen in the last decade of what PM role actually is from then to now. Hi, my name is Anne. I've been a product manager for the last 10 years and follow along with me on my path to becoming a modern day one with all these new technologies that we now have at our fingertips. 10 years ago, being a product manager mostly meant that you were the person keeping everyone on the same page. You were writing specs, running stand ups, updating timelines. Basically, you were making sure that the train didn't fly off the tracks. On a good day, you'd get to make a small product decision, and on a bad day, you were just scheduling meetings about meetings. And honestly, a lot of PMs back then operated more like project managers with a product title. We owned delivery and not really direction. I remember starting way back when it was a lot of top down decision making on what we would put on our roadmap based on what the leadership wanted to see according to the competitors in the landscape and tech debt related things. A lot of the work was legacy related migration work. And so it's a totally different thing to be a product manager now. PMs are now expected to be strategic operators, people that connect user value to business value and make real decisions, not just document them. Teams no longer want just a note taker, they want someone who can see around the corner and actually hear through pain points to consider future edge cases around what this product intake will inform and be. They want someone who understands the user to then shape the strategy and to build alignment around what actually matters cross functionally. And the rise of AI and modern tooling has accelerated that shift even more. The busy work tasks of drafting PRDs, writing test cases, summarizing research, well, AI can help with a lot of that now. So PMs are freed up to focus on the parts that cannot be automated, including judgment, product sense, prioritization, storytelling, and getting people genuinely excited about the vision. So these days, if all you do is manage Jira tickets, you're not a PM, you're more of a traffic controller. The modern PM is expected to actually drive the product and not just keep the wheels turning, but to really build the roadmap for the future. Not just the quarter, not just the year, but long term strategy. And to build alignment across the entire organization on behalf of the product. So that's the first big shift. We went from being the glue that held the process together to being the people responsible for making the right bets at the right time for the right user group. And honestly, it is a lot more fun that way. Let's talk about the second big shift, how we actually build products. 10 years ago, product development was surprisingly slow, even at companies that would claim to be agile. We had long research cycles of doing user surveys and getting feedback to translate into design, to then translate into engineering. And a lot of these decisions were made based on gut feeling or whoever had the strongest opinion in the room. We'd run one big usability study every quarter, maybe send out a survey, pull data manually from SQL if someone was feeling brave, and A/B testing was something only the big tech companies did, and even then, it took forever. But today, everything moves at a completely different pace. We have real time analytics, automated experimentation platforms, instant user feedback, and AI filling in all the boring gaps. We also have user dashboards, LLM tools, prototypes being generated. Now you can launch a prototype in the morning, get user feedback by lunch, and have data backed insights by the end of the day. That means today's PMs spend a lot less time shuffling documents and more time interpreting signals, running experiments, and making actual product calls. And it also means the expectations are higher. You're expected to know what's happening with your users right now and not just at the end of the quarter. So that's the second big shift. We went from slow intuition heavy cycles to fast, evidence driven, AI accelerated product development. And honestly, it makes the job 10 times more interesting to be able to move that fast and leverage tools that really give you a lot of that automation for free. So it frees you up to really think about strategy versus pushing paper around. The modern PM is expected to actually drive the product and not just keep wheels turning. The last shift, and honestly the one that changed the job the most, is user expectations. A decade ago, you could launch an MVP that was clunky, half baked, missing polish, and people would give you time to figure it out. You could ship something minimal, get feedback, iterate, and your users were like, okay, cool, this is interesting. I'll stick around and see where it goes. That is not the world we live in anymore. Today, your app isn't being compared to your direct competitors. It's being compared to things like TikTok, Apple, Spotify, Uber, products that people use daily. Everyone's expectations for speed, design, personalization, and clarity have skyrocketed, including all of us ourselves, right? Users expect frictionless onboarding, instant responses, and interfaces that feel intentional, not MVP ish. And if your product doesn't meet that bar on day one, they go elsewhere. There are just too many alternatives. This shift changed how PMs need to think. We still ship quickly, but we can't just hide behind the old just ship an MVP philosophy. We have to balance speed with craftsmanship. And honestly, it forces better product thinking because you can't rely on users to tolerate bad experiences. You have to deeply understand what they need and you have to build it well. So that's the third big shift. Users expect more and they're less patient, meaning modern PMs need sharper product instincts, tighter scoping, and a much higher bar for quality. Okay, we've talked about how the PM role has changed and how we build products now and how user expectations have skyrocketed. So, what does this all mean if you're a PM today or trying to become one? First, you can't rely on the old skill sets anymore. The PMs who thrived 10 years ago because they were organized and good at documentation, well, that's chump change now. Today, you need range, you need product sense, data literacy, a real understanding of users, and the ability to move the business forward in a future proof way. Second, you have to be more comfortable with delivering to a very high speed. AI is compressing product cycles in a way that is crazy. You don't need to be an engineer, but you do need to understand how to use those tools strategically. And third, remember that the bar for quality is higher than ever. Users don't give second chances anymore. So the real skill is knowing how to ship something quickly without making it feel rushed. If there's one thing I've learned after doing this for a decade, it's that great PMs aren't defined by frameworks or jargon. They're defined by clarity. Clarity about the problem, about the user, and about what matters right now. And if you can bring that kind of clarity into today's faster, more AI driven world, you'll be ahead of 90% of PMs out there. Thanks for watching. If you want more breakdowns like this, or if you want to see me build some of my current AI projects in real time, make sure to subscribe. I've got a lot more coming.